Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everybody is doing well. Just a couple more things to set up. Okay, how's it going everybody? Today we are going over the Google I/O conference. And I like I like seeing the things that is going to be coming out. I think it's very fun that the things that Google's working on and then seeing it later come into fruition on devices that we use every day. So a lot of these things right now are not going to be, how do you say, I guess they don't seem relevant right now, especially to people that aren't high into the tech industry. But believe me, you're going to see improvements over time to devices you use, like your Google Assistant on your phone, or if you have the Google Hub or Home, or even Chromecast. These all kind of come together. So let's get started, and I'll hopefully be able to give you examples as we go.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back at I/O. At Google, the past year has given renewed purpose to our mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. We continue to approach that mission with a singular goal: building a more helpful Google for everyone.
For over a decade, we've been pushing documents toward collaborative, linked content inspired by the web.
So, Smart Canvas. We're going over the quick recap, the 9-minute one, so that we're not watching an hour. And I could actually talk more about what it is, and we can go more in depth about it. So, Google Canvas. This looks like an evolution from your general Word doc, Excel doc. Instead, it's a place where you can collaborate on files, which is really cool, which is a lot of people I'm sure can find very useful when they share a document and they have to edit it, and being able to do it in real time with the people. I think I've seen my girlfriend, she has files and documents that is shared. They use a website though, so I doubt this would apply to them. But budget sheets that are shared between different accounting offices, or a variety of different documents, design documents could all be used and worked on together.
Smart Canvas is our next big step. And this fall, we're excited to bring Meet directly into docs, sheets, and slides for the first time.
Today,
So let's go back to that.
Slides for the first time.
Being able to work on a document and have a meeting together where everybody can see what's being written on. Even if you just use this as a basic notes of the meeting, people can see what the outline of the meeting was, and then they could look and in real time adjust what is being written, because what happens often is the meeting notes and what somebody actually says doesn't always align. And because of that, you could have a lot of issues, especially if you're in like a medical field or other confidential field where differences between what's being said and what is actually going to happen could lead to legal liability.
Today, I'm excited to share our latest breakthrough in natural language understanding, Lambda. It's a language model for dialogue applications. Natural conversations are generative, and they never take the same path twice. Lambda is able to carry a conversation no matter what we talk about. Let's see what happened when we talked to a paper airplane.
What's the worst place you've ever landed?
That would have to be in a puddle. I was just barely still intact, so I was stuck there for a few minutes. It was quite annoying.
But it is.
So, as you can see, or I guess maybe you can't see, this looks really cool for the potential capabilities of making the AI assistant even more fluid and be able to talk to you, not just read text, but actually talk back to you. And that, I believe, is a really good step for the assistant, not only to be able to make the conversation more fluid, but also for it to be able to understand more fluid conversation, right? My girlfriend, she doesn't understand, or she does understand, but she has this issue translating what she's saying into commands designed for the home. She talks to it like it's gonna be able to understand general language. And she's gotten better over time about making it less of a natural and more of a command kind of system. But most people wouldn't still have problems with that. So we take that system, make it more fluid for even conversational use, and the AI just gets that much smarter, knows what you want, and is able to provide it with less computational power on your end to try to communicate what you're trying to say. It's very cool stuff. I don't know if you've seen those AI helper buddies that use machine learning to aggregate data from people talking to this AI machine. And it's supposed to be like a friend or whatever. And it is designed to, over time, better understand you and be able to talk to you just about anything. And it looks like they're taking that concept, and I think that's really cool. Like, even aside from the assistant being able to do commands, having a generated AI to talk to could help a lot of people practice language skills, or just having something to talk to about issues. Or there's a lot of potential there as to what they can use this technology for.
is still trained only on text. So we need to build models that allow people to naturally ask questions across different types of information. These are called multimodal models. For example, when you say, "Show me the part where the lion roars at sunset," we will get you to that exact moment in a video.
That's also being able to not just see content metadata, but also see content. That's an engineering feat that I also find fascinating, right? Because, again, back to other examples, we've had times where we're looking for videos on our computer, on the internet, files on the computer, and we don't remember what we called it, but we remember what's in it. And being able to have something that looks through. I know Windows has a feature built in that does something very similar, where it'll read through. You have to preset it, but it'll read through all of the files on a folder if you wanted it to set to this folder, or you could do it the whole hard drive. And then when you search, it'll not only search for what's in the metadata, but also inside the file that it's read through. And this is taking that concept and expanding it to be for video formats, audio formats. That's really good.
2 years ago at I/O, I announced Auto Delete. We've since made Auto Delete the default for all new Google accounts. Now, after 18 months, we automatically delete your activity data, and this is now active for over 2 billion accounts.
We want to free everyone from password pain.
Okay, so auto delete. When they announced that, people were very happy that their stuff won't be in the cloud forever. And I think it also is a good way to kind of reset your Google account if you ever wanted to, right? Like if your Google account is just giving you all sorts of trouble by giving you YouTube ads that you don't want or YouTube video suggestions, you can just restart fresh, clear out your data, and let it reassess who you are. And I think most people will just use it as making it so that, you know, they feel more comfortable that their data isn't there forever. And Google will stay relevant to their suggestions within the last 18 months.
Password alerts will let you know if we detect any of your saved passwords have become compromised in a third-party breach. And a quick fix feature in Chrome. The assistant will help you navigate directly to your compromised accounts and change your passwords in seconds.
Today, I'm excited to announce the TPU v4. A single v4 pod contains 4,096 v4 chips, and each pod has 10x the interconnect bandwidth.
Back to the passwords, actually. I kind of wasn't paying attention.
Alerts will let you know if we detect any of your saved passwords have become compromised in a third-party breach. And a quick fix feature in Chrome. The assistant will help you navigate directly to your compromised accounts and change your passwords in seconds.
That's good. So over the past couple of years, we've talked about the on TechTalks. We've talked about the password system that Chrome has implemented, because right now a lot of people use like LastPass or other online services. Some people have used a program on their computer that they use that isn't connected to the online services, which is probably ideal. I'm more of a blend between convenience and security. So I've just been using the Chrome password saver, and that syncs with all my phone, my everything else, my laptop. And with the password saver, it stores your password, and you can bring it up and say or use it. I've used it when I'm switching browsers, for instance, and I forgot the password to some other site that's not saved on the browser. Then when you're adding their secondary system of the password check, where it would go through and it has like, I don't know how, I think they just get the aggregated list of third parties that have breaches, and they give them, the list of usernames, passwords, probably all encrypted, right? Google doesn't actually get the information, but they get the hash system or whatever it is that allows them to correlate your password with the hash system, and they would be able to recognize if your password was on that list and save you from it. Save you from any potential breaches by not only just telling you to change your password, but having a system that allows you to just click, go to that site, redo the password mechanism, and you're good to go. Making security a lot easier, just in general, for people. Now, the problem usually is that this setting is so deep into the system that unless it gets brought forward to their attention via notification of some sort, nobody's going to pay attention, right? Like if you go into your account settings, how many people have actually gone to their Google account settings and did the password checkup and see how many duplicate passwords that they have between sites, or how many potential breaches there currently are? There's more to it that needs to be brought to the forefront for the casual consumer, because even though they've had these systems, I doubt many people are actually using it.
Today, I'm excited to announce the TPU V4. A single V4 pod contains 4,096 V4 chips, and each pod has 10x the interconnect bandwidth per chip at scale compared to any other networking technology. Achieving our quantum milestone was a tremendous...
I cannot pretend to tell you what that even means outside of they have better hardware for their services.
accomplishment. But we are still at the very beginning of a multi-year journey. We hope to one day create an error-corrected quantum computer. And success could mean everything from increasing battery efficiency to creating more sustainable energy to improved drug discovery and so much more.
Yeah, I also won't pretend to be able to explain to you quantum computing, but just know it is a gigantic leap for computers and for our entire world of technology. It can calculate faster than anything that we have right now, and it can be produced in a size that we just right now, it's like when somebody first said the computer was going to be in our house, as computers currently took up entire rooms, right? What they're going to be able to do with quantum technology is mind-boggling. You might actually get Minority Report kind of systems. It's something to keep a lookout for.
You might ask, I've hiked Mount Adams and now want to hike Mount Fuji next fall. What should I do differently to prepare? But search engines today can't answer it directly because it's so conversational and nuanced. MUM is changing the game. With its language understanding capabilities, it's highlighting that Mount Fuji is roughly the same elevation as Mount Adams. But fall is the rainy season in Mount Fuji, so you might need a waterproof jacket.
So, exactly what we were talking about earlier when it comes to a more sophisticated AI system able to understand and recognize language, not only being able to talk back to you in a smoother language, but being able to understand you on a smoother level. And right there, you could see search results that are more specific, aggregating data. So it's not just reading text from a website, it's aggregating data from multiple websites, finding the relevant pieces, and putting it together to answer your multi-layered question. Very, very fascinating stuff. At least for me. I hope that you guys also find it fascinating.
Gotta scan the floor. So let's scan the area. Ooh, and she's here. She goes for the triple double. This is very accurate. Nails it.
Okay, so AR, I'm not exactly sure what they were showing off outside of just more AR stuff, and I don't want you to forget about it. AR is going to be really good. Again, like VR, it's the practical applications are going to be often more found in business than it is in commercial, or not commercial, in residential kind of homes. There's going to be residential stuff, but most people for the near future that are using AR are probably going to use it in a commercial setting. For instance, being able to, instead of having desktop, right, you would have the HoloLens, right, the Microsoft HoloLens, which provides you with as many desktop monitors as you want while keeping an actually physically clear table. And you could have a conversation on Skype over here while you're talking or seeing something over here, looking something up. It will amplify workspaces to be less clutter physically, but easier to do things, because sometimes you need to do things moving around. You need to see, and you need to present that information. And it's easiest if you had like a head mount, right? Where you could just look and they will see what you're looking at. And you could point and they can see you pointing. And you can, for instance, get instructions like they've showed in the past, have something pinned on a wall here. There's all sorts of application for it. And I'm sure in the long run, a lot of those will become more residential used as well. But it's going to be coming from the top down. Like most computer stuff does.
Around the world, people use Lens to translate over 1 billion words every day. So now, we're rolling out a new capability that combines visual translation with educational content from the web. For instance, you can easily snap a photo of a science problem and Lens will provide learning resources in your preferred language.
Google Lens, I think, is one of the coolest features that is never used. You can identify. You ever want to take a picture and like search the picture on the internet to see if you know what it is? Or this is something that comes up, I think, a lot to people, but almost nobody that I know actually uses Lens to figure things out, right? I know on my neighborhood Facebook, they ask all the time, hey, what's this spider? Hey, what's this moth? What's this bird? And Google Lens answers that instantly now. There's no reason to even guess what an object is because Google Lens it knows. And language translation. If you're in a foreign country or you can't read, as they like to use their examples, in countries where getting education is a lot harder, it has transformed lives to be able to read for other people that don't know how. There's also a disability thing. People that are blind, they have an easier time navigating the world, also through maps with their AR assistants, or like super detailed. Because of the AR assistants, they made the walking directions super detailed, and that in turn helped people with disabilities, right? And so you can see this progression of like why of all these new technologies, and people are like, well, why are they doing that, right? How it makes the world easier for everybody. And while Microsoft back in like the 90s, they helped make the business world an easier place to navigate. By far, one of the most powerful things ever created was Excel. And that program alone has probably allowed more businesses to be built than probably any across the world, right? It's cheap. I mean, it's still relatively expensive, especially in the US, but you have access to Google Sheets now, which is free. There is a web version of Excel now. It was cheap enough that around the world, it just added trillions of dollars to the economy because more people were able to go into business, right? They're doing the same concept, but just for navigating the world. And like they said earlier, they want to take all the information on the internet and be able to streamline it to you, to be able to navigate the world better, understand the world better. Google has its issues, no doubt, but I think their overarching goal is really positive.
Advances in AI are helping us reimagine what a map can be. This year alone, we're on track to release more than 100 AI-driven improvements. We're adding prominent virtual street signs to help you navigate complex intersections. We're bringing it indoors to help you get around some of the hardest to navigate buildings.
Google Maps will...
Again, this is something that's going to be useful for people in general, right? Getting around an airport terminal walking around a new city that you don't understand the streets that well. But also people that like walking around the street might not be an easy thing for them to do, right? This makes it more accessible.
Will soon give you the option to take the most fuel efficient route. At scale, this has potential to significantly reduce emissions and fuel consumption.
Fuel efficient routes. That's really cool, I think. Because if Google Maps, ironically, even though, well, not ironically, Google, I think Android is like 70% market share of phone. If they get 70% of people with phones, let's say, guessing that's 50% of the world population, right? Like, we'll just pretend for easy numbers that 75 or 70% of those people to drive more efficiently at scale, that's stupidly good, right? Like, that's a huge amount of emissions saved. Yeah, I don't really have much more than that.
Consumption.
More than 1 billion times a day, people are shopping across Google. Shopping inspiration often strikes when we see something we like in the world around us. When you view any screenshots in Google Photos, there'll be a suggestion to search the photo with Lens. You'll see organic search results that can help you find that pair of shoes or browse similar styles.
Today, there are...
That, I think, was a Bixby thing. That when Bixby first came out, they're like, oh, look at what we can do. And now it's being built into Lens.
There are more than 4 trillion photos and videos stored in Google Photos. Soon, we're launching Little Patterns. Little Patterns show the magic in everyday moments by identifying not so obvious...
I don't know if this calculation I find very fascinating. Because I'm assuming, I could be wrong on this, I didn't watch the whole presentation, because they might have talked about this. I'm assuming that this is a numeral value based off of the colors and the lighting and all the different data points of the images, right? Because we go back
videos
a little
stored
bit further,
in Google Photos. Soon,
you can see that they vary wildly between the different pictures. So I believe this is like a data point, and then that they created to kind of summarize the picture for computers to understand.
we're launching Little
And
Patterns.
then the computer can pick out which data points are closest together
Little Patterns show the magic in everyday moments by...
and be able to find pictures within the same realm. I think that's really cool. That's a really clever system.
by identifying not so obvious patterns in the photos you take and resurfacing them to you.
Beauty is personal. To face this challenge, we imagined Material You, a new design that includes you as a co-creator, letting you transform the look and feel of all your apps.
I like that. It's customization. And, you know, customization is that makes it more personal to you.
Just this week, we crossed an amazing milestone. There are now 3 billion active Android devices around the world.
All right, this goes back to the other one. 3 billion Android devices. That's about 70%. So imagine 3 billion people being more efficient in driving. That's almost the world population, or half the world population. And there are Apple people, not a significant number of Apple people that also use Google Maps, right? So the reach of Google Maps is even larger than just 3 billion devices. Now, I get that's not 3 billion people per se, right? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 Google devices here in this house. So there's probably less than 3 billion people that have it, but you get the drift.
So let's start by taking a look at our new UI for Android. We've overhauled everything, revamping the way we use color.
I'm really hoping for a new Pixel design. And you see this picture that they have here? I'm thinking, because normally they use Pixel in their advertisements. I'm thinking this is a replication of what the next Pixel might look like. They obviously did not put a camera hole. This is like this is not an image or an accurate Pixel picture, but it looks like they're going with rounded corners, very similar to Apple style, where it's more boxy with small rounded corners. And looks like thinner bezels. That's my guess. I'm hoping that the next Pixel is going to be a high-end phone, because I've been stuck on the Pixel 3 since the 3A, 4A, 5A. Hoping the 6 is something good, because right now, I don't know. The other Pixels didn't really seem to grab me. And the Pixel 3 having the wide angle camera in the front, I think by far was the most ingenious idea. I don't even care. They don't even need the regular camera in front. They could just have the wide angle lens. And that makes a world of difference trying to shoot photos like selfies and stuff.
Color, shapes, light, and motion, inspired by Material You. We've got something new planned for Google Pixel, using what we call color extraction.
Here you go. I mean, I'm not sure if this is a mock-up of the Pixel 5. I think this is Pixel 5a mock-up now. Let me check. Oh no, that's not the Pixel 5a. Because the Pixel 5a has the camera in the middle. It's the Pixel 5 that they're mocking up, or that they have here. It's okay. I am hoping for, I don't know, something a little bit more. All right, back to it.
The system creates a custom palette based on the colors in my photo. The result is a one-of-a-kind design, just for you. Samsung and Google have a long history of collaborating, and now we're combining the best of our two operating systems into a unified platform focused on faster performance, longer battery life, and a thriving developer community. To make smartphone photography true.
Okay, the Wear OS, they have ignored it for the past few years, and now they're announcing that they're working with Samsung. They just bought Fitbit. What are they doing? They're not answering that question. They're just letting us know that they're working on it, which is good. I'm not going to complain, but it makes me think that even this next cycle, they might not show off the new Android watch that they're working on. They might wait till next year because it looks like they're still putting everything together.
Truly for everyone. We've been working with a group of industry experts to build a more accurate and inclusive camera. We're making auto white balance adjustments and algorithmically reducing stray light to bring out natural brown tones and prevent the over-brightening and desaturation of darker skin tones.
Better camera, algorithm less biased, right? Like, I think everybody can be happy with that.
We've been working to make mammography better. And now we're collaborating with Northwestern Medicine on an investigative device research study to better understand how AI can apply.
This is one of the biggest things that technology can do for us today, is be better at diagnosing than humans, right? AI still isn't that smart as an assistant, but it is super good, better than humans at looking at pictures and being able to, I guess you would say, diagnose. They can't really diagnose. They can just see differences, right? That people can't. And so right now, this is a real world practical application that is in use today that is science fiction. That was science fiction 10 years ago.
To the breast cancer screening process. Technology can and should help close the equity gap.
We were all grateful to have video conferencing.
They also talked about the equity gap there, right? A lot of politics right now is talking about how minorities are often not diagnosed properly, right? Because they are not treated the same. And it's an unfortunate fact of life right now that we are working on a cultural, political, legal scale. But having something like an AI that literally, unless you program it to, can't care about any of those things. It just can look at a picture and tell you what it sees. Does help level the playing field.
Conferencing over the last year, but there is no substitute for being together in the room with someone. So several years ago, we kicked off a project to use technology to explore what's possible. We call it Project Starline. It's early and currently available in just a few of our offices. But we thought it'd be fun to give you a look at people experiencing it for the first time. Using high-resolution cameras and custom-built depth sensors, we capture your shape and appearance from multiple perspectives. And we have developed a breakthrough light field display that shows you the realistic representation of someone sitting right in front of you.
This is just really cool, right? Like, is it necessary? No. I don't know, outside of a more of an emotional level, how this technology is going to be used in a more practical sense. But this has already evolved, right? Remember the Kinect? The Kinect for the Xbox was a big fail because they couldn't make games for it. But the technology was a win, and the technology is still being used today for all sorts of different things, the infrared to body scan. And this is taking that idea and making video streaming even more realistic. Now, I'd like to see, because they don't really tell you
in 3
the
dimensions.
monitor that they're using
By
for that.
2030, we aim to operate on carbon.
They don't show you the monitor that they're using for that to make it. I don't know if it's like a special monitor or if it's just a regular monitor that's able to use color a lot better using the 3D modeling to create that realistic image. Either way though, super fascinating to be able to have almost a hologram, right? That's one of the closest hologram representations that we have right next to you, right in front of you. Yeah, Kaz, it's super crazy, isn't it?
Carbon-free energy 24/7. And today I'm excited to announce we are the first company to implement carbon-intelligent load shifting across both time and place within our data center network. Investments like these are needed to get to 24/7 carbon-free energy. And it's happening right here in Mountain View too. We are building our new campus to the highest sustainability standards. Over the past year, we have seen how technology can be used to help billions of people.
I like the design of the campus because it's almost anti-Apple, right? It's almost like the architect looked at Apple's new campus and decided, what can we do to make it very distinct and look the exact opposite of that? So they have this giant circle with a hole in the middle, right? Like that represents very similar to their fingerprint scanner circle button thing. And here they just have a big roof. The Google created like this giant roof over almost the same size area, it looks like. This dome. That's just how I see it. That could be totally wrong, but I that's the instant grab that I saw when I saw this was they needed a new campus and they needed to make it distinct because they're right. Apple not only just created a new campus, they used it as an advertisement of Apple. And here they're going to use this as an advertisement of Google.
Through the most difficult of times. It's made us more committed than ever to our goal of building a more helpful Google for everyone. I hope to see you in person next year.
Oh, that's it. That was the important bits, at least the ones that they thought were important for the 9-minute video that I turned back into a 53-minute video. But better than the hour 55, I guess. Hopefully you enjoyed. I do. I like looking at tech stuff, and I'm going to be doing more on a regular basis of putting videos and tech stuff out there. So go ahead, like and subscribe on my YouTube, youtube.com/Mr. Tracer, and I will see you next time.